Hello everyone out there in YouTube land. I'm Jacob, and this is my kitchen. And thank you for coming to our 4th episode of my burning down the house with me. Not that I burned down the house, but it's a kitchenette. So today we are going to cook lasagna. My lasagna. Not like other lasagna that you get elsewhere. My lasagna. But it's a simple recipe and you'll like it. I hope so. Let's show you what goes into the lasagna. For the ingredients, what goes into the lasagna, of course, there's ricotta cheese. We have feta cheese. And we also have Parmesan and mozzarella. We have black olives. We have a full bulb of garlic. We have mushrooms. You need at least 2 whole yellow onions. Yellow is what I prefer. You can use white if you want to. I just think that yellow works better. Tomato sauce. And this is a 29-ounce can. You could always go with something a little bigger if you want. It just depends on how much sauce you want. And these are the lasagna noodles that I am going to be using. And there should be enough, considering this is about a 1-pound package. Once they get all boiled up and everything, they'll be pretty good. And of course, ground beef. You'll need at least 1 pound, if not more, ground beef. I usually go with 2 to 2.5. This whole thing right here is just a little bit over 2. So that's what we're going with. Alrighty, so the first thing that you will need to do, you will need to start with your ground beef. You need to fry that. For each layer, for each pound of ground beef, I usually do about half of the bulb of garlic. And then the second pound of ground beef, I will go with the rest of the garlic to throw it in there. Just chop up the garlic. If you watched my last episode, which I hope you did, I showed you a good little trick to getting garlic unpeeled really quick and getting it all chopped up. You get that in there and it'll taste great. As far as spices go, you can use Italian seasoning. You can use really any other kind of spice that you want to go in there. I will be using a little bit of Italian seasoning and probably a little bit of garlic with some herbs extra. I'm not exactly sure what the herbs are. I do know that they taste pretty good on a burger, but I will check that out for you before we get to that point. Just to show you what you'll be cooking lasagna in, this is my trusty Anchor Hocking 9x12, what is it, 12.8, yeah, 12.8 inch cooking dish. Handy little tool. And when you get to the point of all your pasta's done, everything's done, and you're ready to build it, this is where it all goes. Hello! We have gotten to the point in making our sauce. Now, I did go ahead and start the ground beef frying, and there is already, the bulb of garlic is already chopped up and in there. And now we've got mushrooms that are sliced, and we have one of the whole onions that are sliced and cut up a couple of different ways. So, what we're going to do is throw this in here. And hopefully we can get it all in here without any of it going off to the side. There we go. Now this beef has been frying now for probably a little more than 6-7 minutes or so, but I want to give it a chance to be fully brown because some of it is still a little pink, not quite done yet, and we want to get the onions and the mushrooms down toward the bottom so that the flavor will go through the rest of the meat. And it'll all be nice and tasty when we get to that point. So then, that will take a little bit of time to finish up. And while we are waiting on that, we're going to start the water boiling for the lasagna noodles. And I believe, I haven't got there yet, but I believe the total time on those, once they starts boiling, you throw them in, and it starts boiling again, you go for something, I believe it's like 12 minutes. I will have to check on that though. But you know, you will follow the instructions of whatever dry pasta that you start with, whether you buy it in a box, whether, you know, you even go as far as to make it yourself. Hey, that's impressive. I don't know how to do that myself, but follow the instructions on whatever your pasta says, and that's what you will do. I'm just saying what I bought, I think is like 12 or 13 minutes. I'll have to look.
Yeah, we're not making fresh pasta on this show. I'm sorry, but we're not.
No, we're not. Not unless you're willing to sit through a couple of hours and me have to like figure out exactly how to do that, which I don't know how to do. So no, we're not doing that. Hello. Well, we have the ground beef all browned and everything. After it's drained, one thing that you are going to want to do, and this, I don't know how many people do this already, a little bit before you're draining your ground beef, you want to take either your tomato sauce or whatever sauce that you're using, and you want to put it in a saucepan, and you want to make sure that it's warmed up before you add it over here back to your ground beef, and then mix that up, and then the temperature on that we will bring up to a medium where this is now, and then that way it won't be such a shock and the flavor won't be thrown off. Water is just starting to boil, but I did want to let you guys know you want to preheat your oven to 350, and however long that will take. On our oven it's about 10-15 minutes is what it'll take, but it should be, you know, at 350 and ready to go when I'm ready to put all this together.
Speaking of boiling water, it's ready.
Okay, I'll get pasta in there. Now, lasagna pasta is a little more fragile than what you're probably used to if you've never made lasagna before. It has a tendency, number one, to stick to the pan and to each other. So you do, when your instructions say you need to add this much salt, add that much salt. You need it. Your pasta needs it. So this will be 13 minutes. Alrighty, now we are to the point while these are boiling, we need to add our tomato sauce to our ground beef, because this will form the layers of the lasagna. And we're going to mix this in. See if we need to add the rest of it, which we probably do, because it's not looking like there's enough in there, and there's not. So we will add the rest. And we are going to turn this on to about 3. That's about a medium low, just to warm it up a little bit. Make sure it stays warm. It's already warm, but we'll make sure it stays that way. And yes, perfect. For your lasagna, your sauce, for your layers of the lasagna, needs to have a consistency where it's kind of thick, but not too thin at the same time. Not too thick, but not thin. Now we are going to drain the olives first, because we don't need the juice at all. And then we are going to chop some of these up, and we are going to chop up our other onion. And I just wanted to point out, I realized how long the last video was. It was over an hour, and that was never my intention. It just kind of happened. I mean, granted, yeah, it took 3 days to make the whole thing, because it's 3-day chili, it's what it was called. And my grandmother would spend 3 days making it, but of course she would work and do stuff one day, take everything, put it in the fridge, well, you know, on the second day and everything. And sometimes it went on to 4 days because she forgot to do something or something along those lines. And she would end up not finishing in 3 days what she wanted to do. And mind you, she did everything on the stovetop. She did not have a crock pot until later on. She liked it, but it's just one of those things. She usually made everything on the stove. But knowing how long that last video was, I wanted to not make that happen again. I would rather you guys not lose interest, especially when you go to look at the video and you're seeing, you know, 45 minutes to an hour or more, and you're like, dude, too long, ain't gonna watch that. So, didn't want to do that. So that's why I had browned the ground beef and added stuff and chopped everything, and I did all of that off camera just so that you guys wouldn't be so bored watching me just chop one thing. And I also assumed that you guys kind of knew some stuff that I just kind of glossed over. If you do not know how to brown ground beef, I apologize, because I kind of assumed that everyone kind of did, and it was pointed out to me that I was incorrect in that information, because I just assumed that everybody knew. And if you are one of the people who did not know, I do apologize, because I assumed that everyone did. Hey, there was a time that I knew nothing about cooking, and if somebody would have said to me, hey, brown this ground beef, and that's the first step, and I would have looked at him like, huh? Like, I don't know how to do that. But anyway, that's where we are. Now, in future videos, I will, you know, show you more of the chopping and stuff. Probably not like every single little thing that I chop or slice up or whatever, because you don't want to see that. That's going to take forever, and it's just like, you know, you don't want to see that. You really don't. Okay, that's about how many olives you are going to need. Get this onion chopped up. And this onion is going to go on the top of everything, the very top, when we put the cheese on before it goes in the oven, which will be here shortly, very shortly. I can just get the stuff off of here. Thank you. And if I have to stop and just walk away from this onion for a minute, just bear with me. I will leave that to my wonderful partner and editor to edit that part out. Because one reason I love yellow onions so much is because they're stronger and they taste good. If you chop them up, because nobody's going to just bite into an onion, and if you do, hey, why? But hey, when you chop them up, you get the little spray of onion stuff into the air and it makes your eyes sting and you're just like, oh my god, I can't see. Because your eyes are watering like crazy. And that's good. We may not use the entire onion. It's just a kind of a maybe not thing if we need it right now. Don't know that we will. Okay. Now then, first thing you need to do here, you need cooking spray. Just a little. You don't have to go crazy. Don't have to get all psycho. Just a little to coat the bottom. Now then, you place the noodles like so. Should be 3 across. And the bad part working with this pasta is that it's tough enough and still a little hot. Ow. It's tough enough.
Burn yourself.
Okay, so you just need 1 noodle, 3 across. You don't need to put, you don't need to double up the pasta. If you do, it's going to get kind of gunky and stuff when it gets cold when you put the leftovers in the fridge. So just 1, per row, and that's all that you need. Then you need your ricotta cheese. Because this will go on after you get the sauce in here. And you just want to kind of spread this. Doesn't have to be too thick, doesn't have to be too thin. You just kind of Goldilocks it. Just make it just right for you. And you see what I'm doing? You just get a layer in there. And you're going to be adding a little stuff to this, so don't have to go all crazy and covering everything up. It's not really all that necessary. Now the ricotta, you just need a thin layer, or you can do more if you like. Generally, I don't know how many of you out there have actually made lasagna, but me, the reason, I give you guys, thicknesses and stuff and tell you, what layers need to be thick, what don't, that kind of thing. I don't know how many of you guys have ever, actually made lasagna. And for those who have not, I don't want you, you know, afraid of getting things, you know, wrong by putting things, you know, too thin, too thick, that kind of thing. One nice thing about cooking is it's really not something that has to be so uniform that you have to have it exactly right. Okay, don't stress over it. It's okay. If you do something, you know, a little different, that's fine. You know, I'm not going to come to your house and, you know, hunt you down and, you know, find you, you know, one Saturday afternoon and go, hey, you didn't do it right.
Why not?
I'm not going to do that. Although it would be really funny, but I'm not going to do that. I just want you to feel like you can be an individual. And then after the ricotta, you put on another layer of pasta. Okay, for this second layer of the lasagna, we are going to add some extra onions because I like onions. And this is what I do. And we are going to add some of the olives. One more layer of ricotta, and then we are going to whip out the mozzarella and the parmesan.
By the way, cheese.
Okay. Mozzarella first. And we're just going to thinly cover with mozzarella. We don't want it to go crazy and leak out the sides and stuff. That could be bad. And then figure out how to and the Parmesan. And I have nothing against buying fresh Parmesan and grating it, except that I don't want to have to do that on the video, simply for the fact that, I mean, hey, it's Parmesan cheese. It's kind of almost the same thing that buying it fresh and grating it yourself would do, except, hey, they grated it and they added some cornstarch to it just so that it wouldn't stick together. Okay, then you add a little bit more olives, just a little more. Might as well get rid of what we got over here. Da, 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 da. And last but not least, we have the feta. Now, Michael confided to me that he is not the biggest fan of feta, so I'm going to try to do this. Normally, I would cover the whole thing with feta, but I do want it to where Michael is going to be able to eat it, because, I mean, you know, knowing that something that you don't really care for is in there, it's not always the best kind of reaction that you want. But I do want to put some on this side, just a little. You know, just don't go crazy with the feta. Now, you don't necessarily have to cover this with foil or anything. It just needs to go on your middle oven rack for 45 minutes to an hour. Just watch the cheese as it goes, and then after 45 minutes to an hour, we'll be done. You ready?
Yep, we're filming.
All right. So here we are. This is going into the oven. And we're going to set our timer, and then we are going to wait. Alrighty. Well, this is what the lasagna is looking like right now, and it's looking pretty good. It has only been in there for 45 minutes. I usually take it a full hour, but I'm thinking that it looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out, and we'll have serve some to Michael.
Also, our oven is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It cooks really things a little faster than it should, but...
Hello.
Okie dokie.
You ready?
Yes.
Is it taste test time?
Yes, it is. Just be very careful. It just came out.
Oh
So be
dear, my.
It's going to be kind of hot.
Just remember to blow vigorously.
Put your lips together and
Is it good?
really good.
Okay.
Delicious.
So there you have it, my lasagna, and got one vote of approval. So I hope that if you make this, you enjoy it. And if you have any questions, as always, feel free to leave a comment.